Alright, on today's episode, we've got this fine specimen. You may notice that looks a little different. It's stretched from the fender forward, and then the hood's really long, and I have no idea what year this is, but anyway, I think it's Camaro, but it got brought to me because it's going, or they were trying to go to the dyno with it, and my buddy at the dyno took a look at it and was like, I think you need to take it to Michael and have it a couple things addressed before we can get it on the dyno. So I haven't pulled the tune file on it yet. I'm not really sure how it was running, but apparently it really wasn't running. So a couple things me and the dyno operator noticed right off is right there is a mass airflow sensor. So they had it set up, draw through into the turbo, and then out and around back up through here. So I've already pulled the wires over here to put the inlet air temp in here, and that map sensor on there, I'm not sure. I'll try to look up the numbers on it, but I couldn't find anything. It has to be tuned somewhat. I don't know. Again, I'm really curious about the operating system on it, but it has, those look like 80 pound decas to me. But the unique thing about this fuel system is it's deadhead. There's no regulator. There's an electric pump inside the tank, and the fuel line comes into here. So this is the later style fuel rail. What year did they, I think 05 was the year they went to returnless and then had the regulator in the basket with the fuel pump. So this is like the rails I put on the quadra steer and then set up my regulator and whatnot. So Michael told him to get a set of fuel rails and everything. So I called him and asked him, was like, just out of curiosity, why do we want to change the fuel rails? Because, these have a large volume in here, and then this is your feed and everything. And, it's not the best looking, but it's workable. So he told me about 750 or something or higher that these fuel rails became, well, maybe it's not the fuel rails. He was saying that the regulator became a restriction. So anyway, I'm going to put the fuel rails on there. The gentleman bought them, so I'm going to put them on there for him. And then I think what I'll do is I'll just tie back into this and use this feed now as my return and go from there. But on back to this topic with the fuel rails, my red truck has the L92 intake, and it has the stainless rails, which they're actually smaller than these, I think. But that one made 670 at the tires. But we were pretty much out of fuel system, so I guess he's right. So of course I did have stock fuel lines on that truck too. It's got the stock inline filter and the stock feed. And the regulator's actually under the truck, close to the fuel tank, and it's got a quick return back to the tank, and then the stock line to the filter, and then up, and then just a single connection point right here on my red truck. So again, it made 670 at the tires, and when we tried to go to 15 pounds of boost, we were close to out of injector. We tried to add a little bit more, but it didn't take it. So anyway, I'm gonna put a set of rails on there, put a return. I'm gonna go ahead and put a ZR1 map sensor on it, just because that's a known 3-bar, easy to tune, get data for. Again, there's only these one numbers on the front of it, like 007 2F02. So I don't know if it's some knockoff 3-bar map, was my guess, but again, once I scan the file, well, assuming that it's input correctly, I'll know if it's even on a 3-bar map, or like I say, I'm really curious to know how it's set up because it's very intriguing to me. So they put coil packs under here. They got these awesome up and forward turbo headers. Was told it's an 88 millimeter. You can see they got these are the old style O2s right there. So all that's going away, obviously. And then the other thing I'm worried about is this is their wastegate, and that diameter pipe recircling back into the downpipe is very concerning, because that's, if I had to guess, that's going to be a boost creep issue. And the other thing is, you can see how it's sandwiched between there. I mean, how would you make a spring change? I mean, I mean, out of all the places you could put it, I don't know why you would put it there. But anyway, so they got, I don't know, I guess this is a 5-inch, and then they got it split, one side going there, and then one side going under there, and then they've got Flowmasters on there. And anyway, so we'll try to get it fixed up, get it, hopefully it'll make good numbers, run good. I don't know what size it is. He said 5.3, but in one of these situations, you just never know. Another cool thing I noticed was this is the truck accessory, and they hacked off the bottom of it and put that right there is a piece of all thread on a idler. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Look at that. So I got a piece of all thread. Very interesting. So the fuel cell in the back, so that's their feed, comes right off the top, and then that, I hope that's a rollover vent, but it's capped off, and then they got their fuel sender right there, and then they got their wires. I assume that's the wires to the fuel pump. I mean, it's got to be, right? So I don't know. I'm gonna have to get a return in it, and then, like I say, fix all this stuff. So I mean, I guess I could put the return into the bottom down there, because you want it below the fluid level and the pumps there. I want to do a hydromat, so I'll probably do a 450 with a hydromat, and then again use this as the return. So, but it's got a big old tire on it. Shouldn't have any traction problems. I don't know what size it is. What is it? 33, 14 and a half. Big tire. There's got the fuel rails and all that stuff in there. So I'll start laying it out and getting my parts list together so I can go to Summit and get what I need for finished Little Red, and then get this thing going for him so we can see what kind of power it makes. Got the white truck going. The air conditioner proved to be quite a chore. I had to wire the fans in to come on with the AC, and then the control module in the dash wasn't sending the 12-volt signal to the ECU to tell it that they wanted AC to run through everything. So that took me a while to figure out. But he messaged me yesterday and was wanting to know if I could get to the dyno with it quicker than he could. I could take it down there for him, and me and Michael can dyno it and see what it makes. But I'm really curious to know what the white truck makes, because because like I say, these are very similar combos. The only difference really is this one's got a little better turbo. This one's got the Stage 2 Summit turbo cam, and this is a LQ4. That one's an LQ9 and has a truck cam and a lesser turbo on it. But hopefully I can get some video of that for y'all, and then get that posted and see what kind of numbers it makes. And then when we get this thing squared away, we'll do an update video on it and try to get some numbers on it.